Hello, Mike.
Yeah, this is Michael.
Hello, Michael. How are you? You're a live show on a radio Bloodstream. How are you?
Considering the circumstances with the virus, okay.
Are you healthy and well?
Yeah,
Good, good. That's good to hear. So Michael, the reason we're here, you're celebrating the 50th anniversary album release about in 2 weeks. Is that right?
yeah, it's the 50th anniversary
Yes,
of Michael Schenker.
yes. And by the way, a happy birthday. You just celebrated a birthday recently, aren't you?
Yep, I did.
All right, all right. Happy birthday, man. Hopefully everything goes well and this all Corona thing, will go away anytime soon. What's I'm just looking at the original. I mean the promotion, actually being released, and it's just so many great members line up. Ronnie, Ralph, oh my good, Joe. Uh, how's everything work out with this coronavirus thing?
You know, it's a really bizarre journey. I mean, in 2019, when I left I realized that 2020 was the 50th anniversary of Michael Schenker putting the first note on a recording with the Scorpions, Lonesome Crow, and also was my very first musical composition, and so it was just like the beginning, of everything on a recording level. And of course, I started when I was 9, but I wanted to celebrate the 50th anniversary with musicians, fans, and friends, and it was dragging on and on. It's really hard to put musicians together from all over the world, to organize, and at some point I realized I missed the timing for 2020, and so I kind of gave up. And then my agent said, "Yeah, but Michael, the album was released in '72." So I said, in that case, I have 2 years, maybe 3. And so I had hope again. And so, but this time I decided to put a compact band together just to make it not so complicated. And so I had Bodo Schopp on board. I asked Ronnie Romero if he would like to sing all the songs. He said yes. And Steve Mann doing keyboards, his little colorings. And Barry Sparks kept emailing me saying, "Michael, I want to be your bass player." And I said, "You got it." And
Yes.
so I had a complete band, and then I left the early 20. I left the 70,000 tons of metal cruise and spent some time in a Miami hotel when I started writing, and went to the UK, completed all my new compositions, and it was time to go to Germany to see Michael Voss, my co-producer, in his recording studio and start recording. But then I looked on the TV, and there was a problem, a problem like a virus, and so when I actually started to plan for my journey, I realized that all the borders were blocked. So I couldn't go the usual. I go by car usually, go by Eurochannel and France, Belgium, Holland, and then make it to Germany.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go that way because everything was blocked and locked off, and so we found a way to get there because Holland was actually still very easy to deal with, and so I had to go onto an unknown, a new journey, which was via Harwich to the by boat, 7-8 hours sleep, and then back in the car and go to Germany, and eventually got there. I had to do this trip 4 times, not just for the for the music writing, but also we did singles and videos and stuff like that. So I had to go the same route on the boat for 4 times, and each time I came back, I had to go on 14 days quarantine, and except for one time. So if you total 3 times 14 days, it's a total of 42 days quarantine. Unbelievable. And if I wouldn't have done that, the album would have never happened, because there was no other way than to sacrifice, So by the time I got put down all my new compositions down as a backing track, it was time for Ronnie to start singing, and we called him up, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't go on 14 days quarantine. I think he lives in Bulgaria. I'm looked up here, and I don't want to go on 14 days quarantine." I said,
oh boy.
We said, "It's okay, don't worry. We think of a solution." And Amy, my partner, she's a bass player. She has got a very good taste, and she's a music consumer, and I haven't listened to music for 50 years, so I don't know what's out there. So I asked her, like, do you have any idea? Ronnie is, locked off there somewhere. And she said, Welsh Sheepers, and I said, okay, I trust you. I said to Michael Frost, what do you think of Welsh? He said, absolutely. The next day, they were recording. They were recording another song. And so that was 2 songs less for Ronnie. Okay, so now it was time. Oh, and then Brian Tichy calls up. One of the best, he's a fan, a Michael Schenker fan. He heard about the 50th anniversary. He wanted to make a contribution, and he offered 6 drum tracks. I said to Michael Frost, he must be joking. That is unbelievable. I mean, he plays with Ozzy and Whitesnake, and I mean, he's one of the best. And I couldn't believe it, that all of a sudden something was turning, back to what my original plan was. But this time I didn't have to do anything. It was like calls coming in from everywhere. Yeah. And Brian Tichy calls back again and says, a buddy of mine, Derek Sherinian, a keyboard player, he's also a fan. He wants to make a contribution to the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
I said to Michael Frost, well, what are we going to do? As far as I know, this guy I heard about him, he's a heavy-duty keyboard player, like a top 10 keyboard player, and we already got Steve Mann on board. I wanted to put all my guitars down myself this time to keep it guitar-oriented as much as Michael Schenker as possible, and ask Steve just to do some coloring. And so he agreed. And then, I said to Michael Frost, what are we going to do with a heavy-duty keyboard player like Derek? He said, maybe you can have a guitar keyboard jam. I said, guitar keyboard jam? I've never done something like that. He said, maybe it would be great to do something for the 50th anniversary, something special, something you have never done before, and maybe it would excite people. And I said, you mean like John Lord and Richie Blackmore? He said, yeah, something like that. And I said, actually, I went like, maybe you're right. I got excited. And so when... And this song became Drill to Kill, with Ralph Sheepers. When I heard Ralph's vocal, I never knew there was a vocal on this planet like that. I mean, I was blown away. Unbelievable. And Brian Tichy doing the drums, and Derek, training, having a jam with the guitar. I mean, it became Drill to Kill. I was so happy. I mean, I tell you, I was like blown away with the result. Yes. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And then it was like time to call Ronnie again, and Ronnie goes, "I'm sorry, I stay calm. I can't go on 14 days quarantine." And so, okay, Ronnie, don't worry. We figure something out. So he already lost 2 songs, and so I went I said to Michael Frost, what are we going to do? Ronnie can't do it at this point. And he said, what do you think of Jolene Turner? I said, Jolene Turner? Yeah. I am a fan of Jolene Turner. He's one of my favorite singers. He's a fan of mine, actually.
Yes.
And the next day, they were recording and another song.
Oh my gosh.
So that was 4 songs less for Ronnie. And so, and then one morning I came back from the hotel. Michael Voss always writes, co-producer, he always writes some B plans for vocalists in case they need some help. He puts some lyrics and some melodies just as a B plan. And so I came back from the hotel in the morning. He said, "Look, Michael, this is what I did to your power ballad. By the way, as far as I know, I've never done a power ballad before. Not like that. And I don't know where it came from either, but it just showed up when I was writing. And when he said to me, like, listen to this. This is what I did last night to your power ballad. I listened to it. I said, Michael, this is so beautiful. Only you can sing this. This is unbelievable. And there was another song called The Queen of Thorns and Roses, which was an unusual song. And Michael did something to that too. I said, like, Michael, you got that song. You have to sing those 2 songs. So that was 6 songs less for Ronnie.
Oh, wow.
And so
wow.
eventually Ronnie was available. And of course, he did a fantastic job, with A Night of the Dead and Sail the Darkness and Come On Over and then there's a bonus track that's like an 11th song that probably nobody has heard yet, which he was doing absolutely fantastic job with, which we're going to use as a B-side for a single or whatever, or promotion for an album, for a tour. And so and it just went like this non-stop.
Wow.
I went like, Michael, what is going on here? You're not doing anything this time, but everything happens so beautiful and so much better than I could have ever put it together myself.
Wow.
I mean, it felt like I was universally blessed,
Yes.
It was like, and then there was In Search of the Peace of Mind, which is the very first piece of music I ever wrote. I wrote it, I was 15 years old. I wrote it in my mother's kitchen. There was nobody there.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually quite a complex composition for a 15-year-old.
Yes.
And Michael Voss was sending me the original credits of Lonesome Crow Scorpions album. It says, lyrics by Michael Schenker and Rudolf Schenker. We had zero knowledge of English. How could we have written any lyrics?
Right.
And that was complete misinformation. They should have said Michael Schenker music and lyrics by whoever did it, And then another thing, it was my very first song I ever wrote, a piece of music. But on top of that, it was also the first time I was recording.
Yes.
And then on top, it had the title In Search of the Peace of Mind, which became the theme of my life, looking for contentment, freedom, peace, and fulfillment, etc. And then there was a solo on there that was so perfect.
Yes.
For a 15-year-old, I would never change a note for the next hundreds of years.
Wow.
Like Stairway to Heaven or the
I see one. Yeah.
Western, it's just like sometimes, something comes out of the blue that's so perfect you will never want to make any changes. And I could not believe that was happening to me, because the rest of the album on Lonesome Crow,
yes,
Scorpions, which by the way I wrote most of the music to, they didn't even know how to write songs, but they credited themselves,
yes,
for all my compositions. And I was only 15, the kid in the sandbox. I don't compete, I don't compare. I was never looking for fame. I just having fun,
yes,
being play and discover,
yes,
putting 3 notes together, creating goose pimples. And there's a big difference between being 15 and 21. The rest of the guys were 21 years old. They're already businessmen. I was still a kid in the sandbox. So they took advantage of my writing, and because they didn't know how to write songs. They never wrote any songs before until I joined them. you know. And so, yeah, because they didn't know how to. And so I was the writer, and of course I inspired them, and then they added their things to it. And so basically, putting it all together, this song had to become, you know, the 50th anniversary highlight, you know, for all the reasons that I explained. And then, you know, I wanted to make that song an epic, you know. I wanted to add something to it, you know, which I did. Lots of guitar in the end, with the howler, the wah pedal, and deep bending notes, and really lots of emotions, as far as I could go. And you know, like sweetness and sadness and etc. etc. So so it sounds like an inner conversation. You know, we all have inner conversations, like asking ourselves, shall I go this way or that way, or shall I do it like this or like that? It's like making choices. And so when I listen to this today, I mean, it sounds like, you know, it describes my 50 years. In a conversation journey, a musical journey, on lead guitar, expressed on lead guitar. And the way it turned out is just as surprising as the middle lead break when I was 15 years old, that I did not know where it came from. But then this turned out that way, and it became the finishing song. I mean, it was just so perfect. I tell you, I felt like I was given a gift. I felt like a heavenly gift. You know, like Michael, this is what we give you. You know, as your 50th anniversary, for staying true to yourself. It feels like a present, you know, that I got from the universe, you know, for actually staying true to myself for all these years.
Yes, I agree. Michael, what's the motor? I said pushing you forward. What's the energy? It's the music. What is it? It's still, you know, you're pushing you forward. After 50 years, you're still creating music. What is it?
Well, it is me being the kid in the sandbox, having fun, play and discover, you know. I never take from trends. If anything, I created a trend in the 80s. You know, people were copying my guitar style and actually overexposed it to the point when I was playing my own guitar style, it was already heard over and over. But because I discovered very early in my life the inner spring, the infinite inner spring of creativity, being yourself, being Michael Schenker.
Yeah.
Everybody can do this, you know, but it's just a matter of choice. Do you want to take of a trend, a commercial trend that will guarantee you commercial success and make you money and be famous and be in the now of the limelight, etc., etc., and or you know, do you want to self-express, you know? But my I mean, you know, as long as I can go back, even being a kid, even like 5 years old, it was always inner expression. And so if I found, or I may have always had, the connection to the inner infinite spring of creativity, you know, and that's where I go. I don't see any point in taking from the trend or taking from other people. They're already doing it. Why should I do it? I want to inject, and you know, by going to the inner spring and injecting freshness to the trends, which basically the 80s were watered down 70s and commercialized and made everybody rich for the stereotype commercial record buyers. And so, you know, I didn't see any point in doing something somebody else is already doing. He's already doing that. Why should I do it? You know, so I was always attracted to pure self-expression and inject something to the world and to the trend, you know, that comes from a fresh place. And without you know, people like me, I'm sure there are some, that the trend, as we know, the rock and roll trend would have died long time ago. I mean, Markus Steiger, the boss of Nuclear Blast, in Germany, he
Yes.
said to me one day, Michael, if you wouldn't have been, Nuclear Blast would have never been, and he would have never started thrash metal. I went, what? Because I never knew about any of these things. I never knew about Slash or anything, you know,
Yes.
in my early days.
Yes.
You know, because I was never looking for expectation or having an impact like
Right,
that. I
right.
was just happy with music. And so I did Australian interviews, you know. I rarely did. I never been to Australia. I never played in Australia. All of a sudden, I'm doing tons of Australian interviews, and there was a couple of guys. They said like, Michael, if you would have not been,
Yes.
there would have not been thrash metal or death metal or any of the other metals.
Yes.
I said, what? You know, and so. I tell you, it's unbelievable. If you don't expect anything and you don't trace, I never fish on the internet or look for, you know, I never really look at critics or any write-ups or anything. I just usually, I'm just happy, you know, being a musician and focus on
just
the
do
music.
what you do. Yes.
And just enjoy that.
Mike, I have a couple of questions from your fans. First of all, do you still have your the first V guitar, the V flying guitar? You still have the original
It's another
one.
thing. Yeah, it's another thing. I don't focus on that. You know, the flying V came to me. I never looked for it. It was based on circumstance. Everything in my life is based on circumstances.
Yes.
And it's not the V that makes it happening. It's who's behind it, you know?
Yes.
Who is actually playing it. If you put a V on a table, it's not going to make a sound.
No, absolutely not, no.
You know, and so I don't go window shopping, you know, what is like a good-looking guitar? I go by ear, you know, what sounds good. And so, you know, I started with a Les Paul, and then there were circumstances where my guitar was locked up and I had to use a flying V. And the moment I had the flying V on me, I immediately discovered what I can do with it, because I'm quite inventive, you know, and so I realized that by putting it between my legs, I can create a heavy vibrato.
Yes.
And because putting it between my leg, it kind of made me make my posture
Yes.
very, very kind of crooked, looking really weird. And people have never seen anything like that.
I see.
but there was a reason for it. It was not.
Right.
I was looking for that position. It was a reason for that, and it became my icon, you know. And you know, once you have actually started a relationship on that level, you know, finding ways of the advantages of that kind of a guitar for different reasons than a look, but for, you know, helping me musically. You know, you don't go back to anything else. I mean, if it works, don't fix it. And I stuck with it forever. And because I stuck with it forever, with that position, that Oakwood position, it became an icon.
Yeah, I know. Definitely, that's true. I have another question from one of the fans of yours. The song "Doctor Doctor" becomes some kind of hymn of UFO. Are you still playing that as much before? Or?
Yeah, it's you know, it's a bit like it's sort of the peace of mind.
Yep.
It's the very first song.
Yep.
Basically, I wrote. You know, it started as an instrumental, as many songs did with UFO early days.
Yep.
And Phil would hear an instrumental and said, "Oh, Michael, this sounds fantastic. Can you take the lead guitar away and give me the structure, the chords, so I can do something to it?" So Belladonna and Doctor Doctor and so many songs started off as instrumentals.
Instrumental,
and then Phil,
right?
Yeah, and then Phil would put his vocals to it. But Doctor Doctor has become an icon, you know, just like in Search of the Peace of Mind.
Absolutely,
because it was the first UFO. I wrote that when I joined UFO 17 and a half years old. You know?
Right. So how was it playing with UFO and with Scorpion? Do you still remember these days? Are you enjoying these days?
Of course, you know, I enjoyed everything because my whole journey
Music.
is a development.
Yes.
You know, it's a development, and it was never, about UFO or scorpions. It was always about Michael, how you want to
Yes.
carry on. You know, I have to finish now because
Yes.
my alarm went off for the next interview.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate your time and enjoy and celebrate another 50. So see you in another
Thank
50
you.
years. All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Take care. All right. So that was Michael Schenker. We have him on a phone call today, and usually we have a Skype call behind me, and because Mike already released a couple of songs, so let's play. I don't know what's on there, but let's play that one which is over there now. Oh, I love that one. I think okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, Michael. I think I expressed it for 20 minutes. Whatever it feels like, and he put everything together. So he didn't expect that. There will be so many great members on this 50th anniversary because basically that he didn't think when he started this project, he didn't think there will be a lockdown or all kind of things. So that's how everything started because he have to travel back and forth through the channel. So he said about 46 days he was on the lockdown. So wow. Anyway, so the album will be out on 29th of June. No, January. Sorry, not so late. June 29th of January. Sorry. 29th of January the album will be out, and it's called Immortal, 50 years celebrating Mark Schenker. All right, so rock on, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Martin Harinda Talk Show. Cheers. Bye-bye.